Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurumedeva Sarvakarashi Sarvadam Ganganapate Namaha. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwara Guru Deva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Shri Radha Krishnaya Namo Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vameyasya Sita Radha Shri Shayasya Asti Bhakshasi Vrindavana Viharam Tam Sri Krishnam Rudi Chintaye. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shri Hanumanji Maharaj Ki Jai. Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 21st of July 2025. I want to offer my prostrations to all the great sages and to Bhagavan Krishna, Shri Radhika Ji, all of the great incarnations of God, and to all of you online as well as people listening later on these talks and recordings. We're continuing to examine the extraordinary power and teachings regarding the Prem-Lakshana Bhakti. Prem-Lakshana Bhakti is the 10th Bhakti, where there is intense love for Bhagavan, where the vasanas, the individualized egoic desires completely are obliterated. They are completely shattered in this stage of bhakti. As we have been saying, the 9 forms of devotion are sadhana. They continue. The Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, they continue. The bhakta revolves in them. One step at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 breath at a time. It is a revolution revolving in the 9 forms again and again. During the time of sadhana, as I was mentioning yesterday, I want to just pick up a little bit on that, then we'll move into the subsequent subject here. That there are 2 stages. One is sadhan dasha, and then there is siddha dasha. So during the time of sadhana, part of what happens in sadhana is that we fluctuate between the desires for the pancha vishayas, the desires for the world, the desires for the experiences of the world, and bhakti towards Paramatma. During sadhana time, this fluctuation goes back and forth, and that needs to stop, because that's a problem. That fluctuation is a very serious deficiency that is very, very, very difficult to overcome. Why is that? The answer to that question is in the Bhagavad Gita itself. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopesya param drushtva nivartate. Let's use an example to understand this. Let's say you have a devotee, Krishna Bhagwan ke koi bhakta hai. I'm just going to use Radha Krishna as an example. Any Ishtadevata is fine. Devotee of Krishna Bhagwan is there and starts the 9 forms of devotion. Listening to Bhagavatam, listening to the scriptures, to teachers, to gurus. Let's say listens for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And then eventually, you have to be able to absorb that teaching inside. And this is where the 4 steps of Vedanta are applicable. And if we don't do them, the mind and our thoughts and our vritti will flip into a different direction towards the vasanas that are within, towards the world. It will flip. I'll give you an example. You have a devotee who heard 25 minutes of a discourse on chapter 15 of the Gita. There are many available online. Thousands of hours of stuff is available. So let's say 25 minutes is heard. All right. Very good. Then what needs to be done is to literally pause. Maybe even after 10 minutes. Maybe 25 minutes is even too long. 10, 15 minutes, pause it on the YouTube or pause it on your recorder, whatever. And then try to remember what was said. This is called manan. So Shravan is the first stage. Many times this happens in life. We might listen to an hour long lecture, a 30-minute lecture, something from somebody said. Even every day we're examining all these ideas. We listen. But how much manan are we doing? You see, that's a critical part. That is where the evolution from inside really happens. Manan is what? Mananam. Manan means to repeat again and again, to remember again and again the ideas that were presented. So let's say a lecturer or a teacher or a guru has presented 5 ideas in 15 minutes. Hit pause, write those 5 bullet points down, listen to that again. Listen to the same 15 minutes 3 times. Get it solidified in the mind. It should not be in one ear, out the other. Iska koi mahima nahi hai. It is not the quantity of listening or the quantity of the 9 forms of devotion. That's fine, it's okay. But it's not the quantity really. It is the qualitative absorption inside the antakaran that makes all the difference. And it is only through the qualitative absorption that the doorway into sakshatkara, into the Prem-Lakshana Bhakti will eventually open. So let's examine this one point only. 15 minutes of Bhagavad Gita chapter 15 has been listened to. The first shlok only, somebody's listening to that. Urdhva moolam adashakam ashvatam prahuraviyam chandamsi yasya paranani yastam vedasa vedavit. This is the first shlok of chapter 15. We hear that verse. Then we listen to the exposition. Then we do some more research on that. Now with the AIs, you can just ask the AI anything. It'll give you all kinds of information. That's very good. Go listen, look at some commentaries. The question becomes, Sachin hears verse 15, verse number 1, chapter 15 for 15-20 minutes. That is called Shravan. I'm listening. Listen attentively. Write down the bullet points. And it's good to write down in one's handwriting. Sometimes we just have a lot of notes and everything online. I also have a lot of notes online. Write it down in handwriting. It's a good thing to do. This is the first stage in Vedanta. Shravan. Shravanam. Then Mananam. It's the second stage. Mananam is okay. Now look, these 5 points were made on chapter 15, verse 1. What is the verse saying? Oh, wow, this verse is saying this. This is another perspective, another perspective. You spend some time on that. Then what will happen, as we will remember those points and remember verse 1 of chapter 15. This is Mananam, by repeating again and again. It's also a good idea, if the possibility is there, to share what you have heard with somebody else, with as many people as possible. Not to show off one's knowledge or something, but just to say, I want to share what I've learned, if they're open to it. That's why we have to have a good satsang community, so people can talk to each other, people can share with each other. It's important to be able to talk to others about this. Again, those who are interested, with that, don't force anything on anybody. But what does that do? It solidifies your own understanding. So these ideas that Sachin is presenting every day, who does it help? Sachin. It helps this mind to solidify further. And why? For what is the goal? To realize God. It's not just to bring a lot of words together and as a scholarship thing. Oh, theek hai. But that's not the aim. The aim is realization. So this is Mananam, right? That's the second stage. Now Mananam is a big thing. It repeats again and again. And then there is actually an intermediate phenomena, very important phenomena between Mananam and Nididhyasanam. Nididhyasanam is the third stage. But before we talk about Nididhyasanam, there's something called Chintan. Chintan, Manan Chintan kehte hain. In the second, you can add Chintan into that second stage. Chintan kya hai? What is the difference between Manan or Chintan? People's name is like that. Some people's name is Manan. Some people's name is Chintan. You may have heard those names, It's very interesting. But Chintan kya hai? Chintan is to cross-connect what we are trying to remember through Mananam, through repetition, to cross-connect internally those ideas that we are trying to remember with the knowledge that already exists within ourselves. This is one aspect of Chintana. And to cross-connect other points in the Gita, in the Bhagavatam, in the scriptures, in the traditions, to cross-connect additional perspectives on the one point. Like chapter 15 verse 1 is not independent of the other 699 verses of the Gita. That's not the case. They are all interconnected, all interlocked, interdependent. They are intersecting with each other. That would be the highest level of Chintan. If some great scholar is there who has mastered the Gita, I mean, I don't think anybody can ever really master the Gita, but someone who has gone so far that they, backwards and forwards, they have itna Chintan kiya hai, how one connects with another, and this concept connects with this one, and this one, and this one. So you take one word literally, and they can just see the whole big interconnected web of interconnection. This is the point. The web of interconnection is revealed by the grace of Radharani to the devotee. That web, unki kripa se ye ek prakar ka jnaan aata hai, and that facilitates bhakti. That is also a type of bhakti. It's a very big thing. It's the unfolding of the web of interconnected, interlocking concepts and ideas of Paravani. Bhagwan ki Bani, the words of God. Gita, Bhagavad Gita means the song of God, the words of Bhagwan. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha. Koi manushya nahi is not spoken that. That is spoken by the Supreme Paramatma himself. That is why it is said Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. So when by the grace of Devi, by the grace of Radhika ji, Shakti, Mahashakti, उनकी कृपा बिना ये नहीं होता, कभी भी नहीं हो सकता. Because it is ज्ञान शक्ति समारूढ़म. It is Divya Shakti hai wo. To see the interconnections in all 700 verses of the Gita, interlinking, interlocking, and then from Guru Krupa, from the internal vision that will keep opening, that will lead to Sakshatkar, the fourth stage. But this Chintan, the capacity to do the Chintan increases when we are doing more connected bhakti towards Paramatma. Naam Ratan, then Bhajan Kirtan, asking Paramatma for that Chintan, then something extraordinary happens there. That the interlocking pieces come together. I'm talking about scriptural intersecting ideas. शास्त्र की बात कर रहे हैं अभी. बहुत अद्भुत बात है. And particularly those who are more intellectually oriented. Actually, everyone has intellect. Some people say, no, I cannot understand this, it's too difficult, I don't want to do this. But this is a misunderstanding. Every single person has intellect. We can expand the intellectual power. That is why, with all humility and by the grace of the Devi, we have been telling people, do the Aim Bij Mantra. Aim Bij Mantra, Saraswati Devi ka Bij Mantra, sabko karna chahiye. Doesn't matter what the age is. Start as early as possible in life. When the child can speak, the first word should be Aim. Absolutely. Or right from childhood, if it is done, Bhagwan ka sakshatkar ho sakta hai. Within, by age 21, before age 30, Paramatma ka sakshatkar ho sakta hai. Aim Bij Mantra. All kinds of deficiency can be destroyed by that. वो महासरस्वती देवी का seed mantra है. Every human being should do this mantra. Whenever you can do it, do it. Don't back off from that. What does that do? It will open up the चिंतन capacity. मनन चिंतन की जो capacity है बुद्धि की, बुद्धि प्रज्वलित हो जाती है. बुद्धि becomes enlivened. इसको ज्ञानांश कहते हैं. Maybe that is a Gujarati word, I'm not sure. It's definitely in Gujarati. But Jnanaansh means that you get this special Shakti for the opening of the Buddhi so that it becomes eventually Sat Buddhi. इसको ज्ञानांश कहते हैं. और वो आइम बीज मंत्र में पूरी ताकत है इसके लिए. Not only, that is, that Sadbuddhi is there, but also all of the aparavidya, the worldly knowledge you need, it is already there. That becomes very easy. You want to study calculus, you want to study physics, you want to be a mathematician, you want to be a scholar, you want to be a musician. Jahan gyan hai, in the realm of Prakriti and Brahma Vidya also, both. It is all locked up inside the Aim Bij Mantra. कितनी अद्भुत बात है. करना चाहिए. Don't back off. Don't waste time. So before reading the Gita, this is one of the ways to do this. Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. गणपति जी का स्मरण प्रथम होना चाहिए. Without that, nothing can happen. Always in every single pujan, archan, katha, bhajan, any sadhana we are doing, गणेश जी का प्रथम स्मरण होना ही, उनका ही होना चाहिए. Nobody else. First गणेश जी. ओम गंगणपते नमः. वो प्रथम पूज्य है. उनका आशीर्वाद लेना चाहिए. Without his blessings, that is the way the God has set that up. वो एक सिस्टम ही ऐसी सेटअप की है उन्होंने. I don't want to go into that right now. But वो प्रथम पूज्य है. The first mantra spoken is always of Shri Ganesh and nobody else. This is the right way to do the sadhana. And then after doing that, Shri Sadguru Bhyo Namah, Guru Smaran karna. And then after that, you can do the sadhana. And so do the sadhana. Aim Bij Mantra 108 times. Then open the Gita. Ask blessings so that the verse number 1 comes inside of chapter 15. Its truth opens from the heart. Satyam param dhimahi. Usme jo satya hai, it is satyam. The truth that is there, the teaching that is there, the jnana that is there, the wisdom that is there, the vision that is there in every word of chapter 15 verse 1, may that be absorbed inside the heart, inside the mind. May it be realized what Bhagavan is teaching us. Bhagavan Krishna वो क्या कहना चाहते हैं, उनकी इच्छा क्या है इसमें. May that come inside me. ऐसी प्रार्थना देवी को करनी चाहिए, राधिका जी को करनी चाहिए. राधिका जी इज द मूल प्रकृति, महलादिनी शक्ति, as we have been saying. So when we do the sadhana this way, then so that is the preparation before even the Gita is opened. Before even opening the Gita, all this preparation is to be done. Who is going to do this? जिसको भगवान का साक्षात्कार करना है. नहीं करना साक्षात्कार, Paramatma is not in a hurry. So you can, Mahamaya will keep you inside the womb of Mahamaya. नहीं जाना भगवत धाम में तो यहीं रहना. अनंत जन्म अभी आएंगे. कहाँ जाना है? So it is a matter of absolute determination that परमात्मा को ही प्राप्त करना है. ऐसे निष्कुड़ानंद स्वामी जी कहते, महाराज के बहुत बड़े संत थे. खोली खोली ने खोलियू खरा खपवाड़ा नहीं खोटरे. It's a Gujarati. He says, I'm looking, in who has that absolute determination. Very few, if there are any. It's a Gujarati, old Gujarati. Kholi kholi ne kholiyu khara khapawada ni khot. Khot means deficient. Who deficiency is. So many people are doing bhajan kirtan pujan. So ये सब बहुत चलता है. Real genuine bhakti, leaving vihaya kaman yah sarvan puman sharati nispruha nirbamo nirhankara samasukha dukha kshami. Who has that? Who can leave all other foolish things aside and said, I want to realize Paramatma or Bhagwan का ही realization करना है. When that determination comes, Bhagwan स्वयं, he starts looking at us. It happens. ये सत्य बात है. ये कोई काल्पनिक बात नहीं है. When that determination comes inside कि भगवान को ही प्राप्त करना है और कुछ नहीं, everything else is secondary, it will come and go. And with that determination, with that bhakti, with that prarthana towards Shri Radhika ji, with the intensity of that bhav and prarthana, वो देवी की कृपा होती है, कृपा कटाक्ष. राधिका जी, she just glances on the devotee and says, I will give you what you want. And इसमें से अलौकिक बात होती, and it can happen through Guru Parampara. Radhika ji can do it herself if she wants, or through Guru Parampara. It will happen in any which way, but it will happen. And when she glances on the bhakta, then when you open the chapter 15 of the Gita and start going through, वो भगवान की कृपा से भगवान स्वयं उसमें आते हैं और he himself will teach you the Gita. That is absolutely extraordinary. ऐसे ये reality, ये बात real बात है. This is what happened in Tulsidas ji's life. Tulsidas ji was, he eventually became a great devotee of Bhagwan Ram. But when that devotion reached the height of devotion, Hanuman ji ki bahut krupa ho gayi un par. And from that the entire Ramcharitmanas was written. How? It has affected millions of people. It has set the standard for Ramayana. Where did that come from? It came from the absolute, pure, 100% energy being placed towards Bhagwan Ram. And that happened because his wife became his guru. Because he was running after his wife, he was in his 90s. And she said, you're a foolish old man, you're still running after me. You have all these vasanas and desires and all that thing. Why don't you run after Bhagwan Ram this way? And it struck him. She became the guru. Who was Tulsidas ji's original guru? His wife only. And he was an old man, still filled with vasanas, and she was going to go away somewhere, and he was running after her and climbing some place, and there's some story like that, and she literally said to him, what an idiotic, foolish person you are. Oh, you have all these desires, you take that Shakti and place it on Bhagwan Ram will come to you. And it absolutely transformed him from inside out. Isko kehte hai Guru. Guru kaha nahi hai. Guru sab jagah hai. And this is, if it's a capital I, capital F, if we want to reach God, to see Paramatma, set that clear destination. And Sachin is only telling Sachin, no authority to tell anybody anything. But if we set that destination, don't change that destination. That is more difficult. Because our mind is such, it is a monkey mind, it is God knows where it will go. Even if a bhakta sets such a destination, but to stay on that destination and not fall off from that destination, how is that possible? It is possible when Manan Chintan increases. Iska ras kehte hai. There's a rasam meaning that there is the enjoyment that comes from higher contemplation. It is called the higher taste. Higher contemplation. इसको भगवान का रस इसको कहते हैं, भक्ति का रस, ज्ञान का रस, and that increases, and it increases and evolves in a very steady way, so that there is so much love that steadily opens up without having a polar reaction back into vasanas. And that prevention of the polar reaction back into vasanas is prevented by dharma, jnana and vairagya. Those are the three that absolutely protect devotion. So I'll just take another 30 seconds here. I don't want to go too much over time here. Now, Manan Chintan we can do. We're already doing Manan Chintan of the Sansar. Isn't it so? And we need to also. It's not that we don't need. To some extent, yes, absolutely. We already know how to do this. But it takes time. It takes time to develop that. Because our mind, our antakarana is not, it can only handle a little at a time. But steadily. So that ability of the antakarana to grow from inside, it grows steadily. It's not like Sachin can sit for, just for 4 hours and do akhanda manan chintan for 4 hours. You'll not be able to sit for 4 hours like that. It's not like do it for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Do some good breathing, do some exercises, go for a nice walk, and then even with the worldly experience, go back into the worldly experience, but try to see the worldly experience through the divine vision, through the lens of the Gita. how would Bhagwan Krishna, how would great sages see this world? And so our vision begins to change of the same phenomena. And this is the power of Manan Chintan. We'll talk about Nididhyasanam and Sakshatkar tomorrow. I just wanted to mention this today simply because that is a base, it is foundational to really and properly grasp how to do the Navada Bhakti. And at the same time, if you really want to enter into Prem-Lakshana Bhakti, into the Prema Bhakti, then Manan Chintan Nididhyasana, this is what God has given the buddhi, mind, senses and all that. He's given us the tools to do this. And the great sages that have come in Sanatana Dharma have shown how to use the body, the mind, the senses, buddhi for this purpose. Right? So let's stop here for now and we'll continue on this further tomorrow. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvadam Ganganapate Namaha Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Deva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Sarva Mangala Mangalle Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanyatrambake Devi Narayani Namosute Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Mahalakshmi Rupena Samstita Namastasya 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 Namo Namaha Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche Sarva Mangala Mangalle Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanyatrambake Devi Narayani Namosute Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Deva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Om Durge Durge Rakshini Tha Tha Swaha Om Shri Durgar Paramastu Om Hrim Swaha Om Shri Durgar Paramastu Om Shri Radha Krishna Paramastu.